I'm Daniel Spikol, Associate Professor here at DIKU in the Human-Centered Computing Group, and also in the, now you turned it all the way down, and also in the Department of Science Education under the wing of this Center for Digital Education. And I'm very happy to sort of kick off this as being a little bit more of the provocative part of the talk. So we're going to talk, can I see the slides or do I have to keep turning my head? Okay, I can stand here and give an official lecture. So welcome everyone. There'll be a short quiz afterwards, so please pay attention. So ChatGPT in education, generative AI opportunities and challenges. And the question is, should the computer program the kid or should the kid program the computer? And Seymour Papert asked this question in 1972. And today, I sort of like to sort of adapt it to say, should AI program the kid or should the kid program the AI? And I think this is sort of the fundamental role that DIKU plays, in the future of our society. And as we say in computer science, prediction gets easier and easier, but judgment remains really hard. And there is sort of this challenge to sort of understand, the deceptions of performance metrics, especially when you deal with complex things like education, which Morten and I research. Because it's not just about the performance of the student or the teacher that you're interested in. You're interested in the sort of social cultural aspects of what education means in the long run. And we tend to focus only on the performance metrics at times, on the surface of AI, not within our department, but outside, in terms of how the media represents it. In 1992, James Kaput was researching the role of graphing calculators into schools. And I think, this sort of stands true, 35 years later or so, or argue that the limitations of computer use in education in the coming decades is much more a result of the structures of society rather than the technology itself. And if you go back even further in history and we look at the progressive education of John Dewey and other people, that every great advance in science issues from audacity and imagination, but yet we still build schools and we still teach in the traditional setting of one person, sprouting out to many people. And this is certainly true, within the university system here and many other places. But we also know that generative AI provides a lot of opportunities in terms for play, learning, and work. Content creation. Certainly it's interesting to see what happens, in the future of content creation using these types of technologies. Also from the user experience, how can these technologies actually be used to create technologies or user experiences that actually match your need? And what does this mean in the larger picture of things? And virtual companionship. We know that loneliness is a big challenge in society, and whether or not these AI tools will actually, fill that void or make that worse is yet to be seen for sure. In learning, which I'm especially interested in, personalized learning has been around for a long time, and AI can certainly help support that in creating more effective and even more affordable ways, for learning to happen. And Morten will dig into this shortly. Creative learning. There's a lot of opportunities to use these tools as a way to expand your knowledge, since there's no problem to ask them 100 questions how to answer these math questions or programming questions that you might have. And accessibility, which is certainly an important aspect. How can these technologies generate content to match the specific needs of neurodiverse students or other types of students that have special needs or individuals? But there are implications, no doubt, from the human technology perspective. There's the emotional connection. A lot of this has been researched for a long time by Sherry Turkle from MIT, and the bonds that we form with our devices, where a mobile phone is actually the thing that we spend the most time in our lives with, more than anything else in our life. And when you lose your phone or it gets stolen, it's almost worse than, losing a member of your family, which is not as bad as losing a pet, according to research. So dependence and trust, this is a big issue. We know that, the current systems, have an issue with sort of trust, and how do we trust that, and can we trust that? And no doubt the ethical considerations are certainly important. And I think this is a really important thing to consider is, what is the ethical use of this technology? There's a lot of talk about AI being the existential threat to society, but really when you look deep into it, it's the large companies that, that sort of, in a sense, control the world that might be, who also control AI, that might be a bigger existential threat than the technology itself. And I think it's a role of us as academics and people in companies to recognize sort of the fragile state, that we're in, and sort of use AI as a way to sort of explore that.